I'm going to call this meeting to order, the special City Commission meeting, August 29th, 2019. It's 6 o'clock. We're going to have, instead of an invocation, we're going to have a moment of silence for victims of violence and their families, and we have had a lot of that. So if we'll just take a moment. Okay, if we'll stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Jenny.
Mayor Jones.
Here.
Vice Mayor Williams.
Here.
Commissioner James.
Here.
Commissioner Jameson.
Here.
Commissioner Ladden.
Okay, our first item, no, we have to do the approval of the agenda. We have a couple of additions after we appoint Mr. DeCoursey as our interim city manager. There will be a swearing for him, Jenny will do. And also I'm going to add, before the discussion on city manager applications, the resolution for Alachua County emergency. And then we'll have motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we approve the agenda as amended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Our first item of business is to appoint Joel DeCoursey as interim city manager.
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded that we appoint Joel DeCoursey as interim city manager. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Not even going to ask for those who know.
You're in good hands. I feel good.
You don't have a baton to hand them?
No, it's usually a flag, but you know, we have a flag. I had some doubts about your other candidates.
Oh, yes.
But no problem. But you got my cell phone.
Thank you.
You'll raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name, do solemnly swear or affirm
I, Joel DeCoursey Jr., do solemnly swear and affirm
that I will support, honor, protect, and defend
that I support, honor, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States
the Constitution and government of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified to hold office
that I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state
under the Constitution of the state
and under the charter of the city of High Springs,
and under the charter of the city of High Springs,
and that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of city manager
that I will well and faithfully perform the duties of city manager,
on which I am now about to enter, so help me God.
which I am now about to enter, so help me God.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Thank you, man.
Go to work.
Would you like to,
Oh, you got this one.
would you like to say a few words?
Yes, ma'am. Madam Mayor, Commissioners, Vice Mayor, it's truly an honor and a privilege to have your confidence. And the good Lord is really good to me and my family, which my lovely mother, my two granddaughters, my son, my cousins, Chief Scott, Dr. Thomas, Representative Clovis Watson, and Miss Selena Lawson. It's wonderful. Mr. Booth, he started me. I think I know you dope. When he said, I want you to come and drink some coffee with me after I retired from the Alachua Police Department as chief after 7 years. And he said, let's drink a cup of coffee. Well, a cup of coffee turned into, well, I need a favor. I got $25 I can give you. So I need you to come be chief. A lot of prayers and soul searching. They announced it on the television. I was in my bedroom. I kind of knew it was coming. My mom, they said, yeah, they don't have to look far for an interim chief for High Springs. Well, John, of course, he was there, Mom. Who? She called my name. I didn't hear her. Joe! And I knew I had to call, and I said, well, to God be the glory, it's been 3.5, going on 4 years. So thank you for the opportunity and the vote of confidence. Thank you very much.
Does anyone else have any comments? We are very pleased to have you.
Thank you.
It's going to be hard to say not cheap, though.
I appreciate he's willing to do this for us. We are very blessed that he's willing to step up and serve us in this capacity. So, thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
I second that. We couldn't have done better. You know that by looking at this pile of applications we got.
Yeah.
We made the right decision.
Thank you.
The next is Resolution 2019-K. Our attorney's not here to read it, Jenny. What do we do?
Anyone can read it.
Here.
Resolution 2019-K, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of High Springs, Florida, declaring a local state of emergency for the City of High Springs pursuant to Section 252.382 Florida statutes due to the threat of Hurricane Dorian, providing for waiver of procedures and formalities, delegating authority, and providing an effective date.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? Do we do roll call for resolutions?
Yes.
Okay, roll call, Jenny.
We got it.
Oh, we
I'll
can
make
have
a
a...
motion that we approve Resolution 2019-K.
Second.
Okay, it has been moved and seconded that we approve Resolution 2019-K.
Mayor Jones,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Commissioner Jameson,
Yes.
Commissioner Lavin,
Yes.
It has been approved.
Just can I wait a second? I'd like your plan on how we're going to prepare for the hurricane by tomorrow, if you could do that.
Mayor, we're already on it. That's a good
Very good.
I'm going to say a joke outside, because I do a lot of joking up here. You have, and I think all of us would speak to that, very comfortable. You have dealt with the emergencies the entirety of your career. This is just a different version a little bit, so we're thankful that you're here.
Thank you, sir.
Our attorneys are here. We've already read the resolution and approved it.
Okay, great.
Okay, is there anything you need to add?
Yes, Jenny, did you get my late email with the actual
No,
executive
I didn't have
order?
the number. I checked it
Okay.
before I came in here, but I didn't get it.
We can print it out and attach it to the resolution, but it's the actual executive order from the governor
Okay.
declaring all of the counties state of emergency, so
Very good.
good.
It's a short agenda, so we went ahead.
Good.
The next thing is discuss city manager applications.
And exactly what are we going to talk about?
Well, does anyone have any wonderful remarks or someone that they think is truly qualified for this job? I've heard some comments that perhaps we don't have someone that we really and truly want to talk to about this position.
So are we going to be doing a meeting next Thursday? According to this calendar I have, it says special commission meeting to select the top 5 finalists. Is that still on the agenda for us
It
to
depends
do
on
that?
how we decide tonight.
Okay.
Does anybody have any comments or someone they would like to put forth?
Well, me personally, I think I'd be a waste of meeting because all these applications, not one of them no good. Really, just say, this is it. I mean, I'm taking the best thing for them.
You can't do that. You have to give them to Jenny. Oh, okay.
It's not that, I mean, it's just not there.
No.
And I think if we continue to go one step, keep putting out and putting out there, we're gonna kick in the same old people that really, it's not a fit for High Springs. I really, like I said before we went out before, let's pump out our brakes, let's wait for at least a year, and then start the search over again, because if we keep on doing it, I think we're wasting time.
Yes,
really
I
do.
agree.
I have no fault with that at all, because I agree. I wasn't going to be quite as bad as you, but I was going to say, you look at them, and there's no substance to them. They may mention a sentence here and there, but there's not enough with contained there to make you think that this is the person that you want to put into this position. So I totally agree with you wholeheartedly.
I think there's some candidates that have governmental experience, governmental background that's not city management, and we might have to open the door to that, because I know there's good city managers that came from other areas of government, even in our local area. So I think maybe we're going to have to look outside the box and you know, either choose, like Byron said, to postpone hiring someone for a period of time and ask if do we call you chief now?
No.
Ask if Mr. DeCourcy will continue to serve us for a specified period of time, or we need to look at, because there are some candidates with some very good resumes there, and they're not necessarily city managers' previous experience, but potentially could. I know I've talked to 2 or 3 different commission boards where they hired someone that was not previously a city manager. So I think we just have to, we're not going to get someone that's going to show up on our doorstep with, you know, the kind of experience that we might want to see. So we have to be open to that, or look at how we want to navigate through that. And I thought that's, when I talked to Jenny, she had said we were going to determine tonight, you know, what steps we were going to do, going through trying to pick out whatever. So that's my opinion, for whatever it's worth.
Well, I think we should wait at least 6 months to a year. Give it some time, because we've had a rough time filling this position, and we are so fortunate to have someone who was able to step in and help us out. So once we found that out, I was a lot more relaxed about this. Mr. Scott?
I won't disagree with what you're saying. My concern is with the process, is that we went out and we solicited, and we're not even going to have a meeting to discuss them. I think from a procedural standpoint, otherwise people are going to look at this and you put in an application and you don't even review them, you don't even have a discussion about them. So I don't disagree. I'm looking down the road, why would somebody put their own in a hat where the city put out for application and they don't even take the time to at least have an open discussion? And I'm not disagreeing with people's, and if the procedure's not an issue, then I'm okay with understanding this is not the chief. He and I I'm looking at the procedure going forward and how this impacts us 6 months from now. You have 20-something people and you don't even review them. You don't have an official review. Who will apply in 6 months or a year? That's my concern. Whether it's a viable one or not, that's my only concern is going forward procedurally.
I think from a legal perspective, as far as that's concerned, I don't know that the commission really has an obligation to have that discussion. If they choose not to, that's the commission's prerogative. But, to your point, I mean, at some point, probably do want to think about when we need to have a discussion, whether it's today or down the road.
Madam Mayor, I would point out that Clovis Watson is in the audience. We could just appoint him. He's got previous experience.
I thought that was part of the procedure. You give them to us, we'll and we'll determine if any candidates are worthwhile interviewing. And me personally, I went through each and every one of them. It's in the trash now. I even took notes on each and every one of them, and what I thought about each one of them. It's just not there. It's just, and I'm not trying to be mean or anything else, because I'm going to say this again, because I said this before. We got to be very, very careful on who we hire for the city of High Springs as the city manager to move forward, because I refuse to let us go back to where we used to be. We need somebody that's going to be appointed, that's going to take us forward to what the next step we need to be. I'm speaking for the citizens of High Springs. That's where my heart is, where my mind is for the citizens of High Springs. We need we need somebody perfect. No, but why choose somebody that we're going to might have concern about? I just don't want to do it.
But I think we do owe them a response to the application. They got to have a written notice.
Right.
Yeah, that has to be done, I think, so that we'll be above board. But I don't think we have to go through a whole process to do that. Right.
So we need to respond, although we didn't consider nobody.
Yes.
Yeah,
Anyone who would
sure.
put an application.
So all applications? Okay, that's fine. I don't have a problem.
Let's just test. Do we need to vote on it?
You can't vote. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's
I
a special
apologize.
meeting, you could, or just do consensus that you don't want to move forward with it.
It's a consensus or?
So the other thing I'd like to ask is how long Mr. Chief DeCoursey is able to service in this position, because he's already retired once or twice, and, we need to ask him, how long he feels comfortable, and just dump it on him. I think we need to have that conversation, too.
Madam Mayor, I'm going to serve citizens. I just had a birthday, so I'm here for the long haul.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I could actually place it on the agenda at the next meeting to consider a contract with him, and that would discuss the terms,
Okay.
if you're comfortable with it.
Yes, ma'am.
And what meeting would that be, Jenny? Would that be the 12th, our regular schedule? And we would take this 5th and the 19th off the agenda, and we won't have a meeting on the 26th because there's one on the 23rd, correct?
I believe
Okay.
that would be the
Okay.
So let me ask a question on the contract. What is the position going to be?
If
Anyone?
you want it to be, it could be interim, or it could be city manager for a set period of time. Usually it's interim until, if you're looking for someone, it's interim.
I'm just asking. I'm just saying, because that's an important deal, because I think, you guys correct me on this deal here. He's there. We can't put him back someplace else.
No, if you decide to stop the search at this time, then he would serve as city manager, I believe. And, but if you're still openly searching for someone, he would be filling in as interim until you decided on.
If he decides that he can take it, I think we could suspend looking for anyone else, in my opinion.
I agree.
I don't disagree, but if he gets the city manager, and I'm belaboring the point because it happened before, if something were to happen, we can't place him back.
Right.
And
A chief is type of thing. I mean, if he were to become city manager, I'm just being blunt on the deal. We can't, if something were not to work, to move him, we can't do that from within the charter. I don't have an issue with them. I just want to make sure that everybody's clear on the process.
You have the options to continue the search. That's an option to you at least. You can reject all the applicants you have. You can look at the applicants you have, and maybe through some process, somebody appears to be a shining star. So you have that ability to do that. That's certainly within your options. Your second option is to say, no, we have a man right here that can serve, and he can serve indefinitely, and we're happy with that, and he seems to be happy with it, and we believe that he can progress the city as necessary, and you go to contract with him, and as Jenny says, you can do it. I cannot remember offhand what our contracts with Mr. Booth, but I think they're year to year with an extension of a couple of years, something like that. So you can do all kind of variety of things that you would be able to do, and certainly we talked to Mr. DeCoursey about what fits him personally in that process. I do agree with you, if you name him as city manager, then it has an effect on your other employees.
Yes.
There's a chief of police that gets named through that, so you can't go back, and I think that's the point that
That's all.
Commissioner Jameson is making.
That's all I'm referring to.
The third option is to do something on an annual basis, and if he likes it and wants to do it, and we like him, and we want to keep him there, then certainly, and maybe perhaps that's a middle ground that you can do. You can do an annual-based situation for a period of time and suspend the search, or you can start the search again. If he gets in as city manager and says, I just don't like this, I want to go back to being chief of police in 6 months, then you can do that. I mean, there's a variety of things. You're not limited to what it is that you have to do. So what comes to mind right now is these three options that would be available to you. But it's up to you all to decide what it is that you want. And it's certainly up to Mr. DeCoursey to decide as well. I think he's already told you what his intentions are. He's here for the long haul. He's willing to go at it. And he's been around city government for a long period of time, and he knows how this city works, he knows how other cities works. So he's telling you, I believe, and we can have these negotiations in private, but I think what he's telling you is that he feels capable, he feels the ability to do this if you want him here on a long-term basis, that he's certainly open to that idea. And I believe that's the discussion so far.
So just for comparative purposes, I don't know that I like talking about Mr. Booth's contract when he's right there, and he probably knows it better than I do, but I think what we did with Mr. Booth is we had a 2-year contract initially, and it automatically renews on its anniversary date for another year unless one of the parties gives notice that they want out. It's like a 45-day notice. So it was a 2-year contract originally.
So, Mr. Chief DeCoursey, you know that I brought this up before. I feel like it's really important for us to make sure that you have the option to step back down if that's what you choose to do, and that Deputy Chief Shepard, I want you guys to be protected. That's the most important thing here, because you have served our community well, and so has Deputy Chief Shepard. So, I know a lot about city government, but do you want to jump feet into the fire without having that word interim that allows you to step backwards, if that's what you so choose to do? Because, everyone, I think, on this board has no doubt about your management ability or your allegiance. But I want to make sure you're protected, and I want to make sure Deputy Chief Shepard is protected, so that, within 6 months, you say, I don't really want to do this anymore. You have, you're able to do that. So I think that would weigh heavily on a decision on any motion that I would make, is what you feel comfortable with.
Madam Mayor, I've been truly blessed throughout my career in life. Deputy Chief, now Chief Shepard, if I could name him Chief Shepard, has done everything that I've requested of him. He is currently 5 classes away from his master's. If for whatever reason something comes up that I would have to vacate. I would do a disservice to this community and to him not to give him that opportunity. I've had my career. So, having said that, I think it's an honor and a privilege with Mr. Booth's direction and guidance and the board's support, the community support. I'll be humbly grateful if we somewhere down the road something happens for whatever reason. Chief Shepherd is very comfortable, capable of stepping in as chief. I've been a chief. It's nothing about the position or anything, but I just like serving people. We talked about serving people. And if it's the will of the people and the Lord and this board, I'll humbly step aside and acquiesce to Chief Shepherd.
Yep,
Question.
that's fine. I
Okay.
just want to make sure. I don't want him to get stuck in the middle of something because we recruited him.
So,
I'm in favor for us to come up with a contract for
yes,
at least a year or 2 years, and let's go forward. Let's get the city moving.
okay,
That's all I'm in favor of.
okay.
Do you need a
We'll have a
motion?
contract.
You need a motion and a vote?
Yes, on this, I would recommend that.
You want to do it?
No, go ahead.
So do we want to go 1 year, 2 years, or 5 years, or 10 years?
Byron's ready to go here, our vice mayor.
Do it, my suggestion would be to do it for a year so that we can renew it at the end of that year, if need be.
Everything
And the
works, then
chiefs
you-
agree.
Then you do the 2 years after that. Everybody's agreed, then you can extend.
At least he's got his foot in the
Right.
the
Well, he knows he's
water,
there.
and he know, right, exactly.
Well, he knows he's got it. And then if you wanted to do a 2-year after that, if you were, then you could do the longer one after.
Extend it, right.
So is the preference then to also have that automatic renewal provision? We call it an evergreen provision, or just a 1 year, and then we'll reconsider at the end of year 1 where we are?
Okay, let me throw a monkey in the wrench. Now, so if we do have to renew every year, because, according to our charter, he have to stay within the city limits.
Yeah.
So, some kind of way we're going to have to, if we do decide to do it for another year, chief, you have to become my neighbor. That settles that now.
That's a deal breaker.
Don't forget now, you're close to me now.
I know.
You got arterial moving down there.
I need to move. Okay, so, Gloria?
Oh, you want me, okay. I will make a motion that we put together a contract for 1 year for the city manager with the option of review and extension even beyond 1 year when it's due.
Okay?
I'll second that.
Do we need a salary?
That's negotiable.
That's negotiable, okay. Did we get a second?
I got it.
Yes, it is.
Okay. It has been moved and seconded that we have an agreement made up with Mr. DeCoursey to, a 1-year agreement as city manager and renewable thereafter, perhaps in 2 years segments or something like that. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Deal.
Air conditioner fix. Go, girl.
Anything else? Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
So done. Thank you all for attending.